Welcome to the first episode of Let's Go Farming, a program that looks at all aspects of agriculture. My name is Mutinta Nyanga. Our focus is aquaculture. We are at Sami Fisheries. We are going to be joined by Mr. Sami Simango, who is a fish farming. He's just going to explain to us what someone needs to do fish farming. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And how are you, madam?
Okay, we are glad to come here. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, and I'm so humbled that you visited my farm today.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you are a fish farmer. Can you tell us, when did you start doing your fish farming?
Well, I started my project in 2020, January 2020. That's when I came to settle down at the farm. And I started with chickens, but I realized that fish farming was the way to go. I took advantage of the Maramba River that's just next to me. Looked at the resource of the water body, and then I came up with the fish farming program. I started with, of course, one pond, hand dug, and in the beginning I did not really understand the fish farming. And then eventually I started putting up more ponds. And when I did my first harvest, from the 3 ponds that I had, I saw the potential and the market in the fish farming business.
Okay, you saw the potential, the marketing in fish farming business. So first you said you started with 1 pond.
Yes. Where
did you get your fish from?
I first bought my fish from Mr. Muyobo, who's along Kazungula Road. They started the programs before me. That's where I got my first fingerlings. And later, after about 3 months, I thought of putting up my own hatcheries to have my own fingerlings, because I looked at what I wanted to do. I think the challenge also is to get the fingerlings, the number of fingerlings at the time that you need them. So that's what actually prompted me to put up my own hatchery.
So yes. there are different types of fish we have in the world or in rivers.
Yes.
What type do you keep?
I keep tilapia, Niloticus and Andersoni. Yes.
Okay, tilapia, Niloticus, and in Zambian language, because I only know there's bream, there's milonge.
Those are breams. Those are breams, yeah. And then we've also started keeping catfish, which is called bubblefish.
Okay, so why those two though?
Why is because the tilapia is mainly for the local market. We are used to the breams. And when I looked at the catfish, I looked at export, especially to DRC, because the Congolese like the catfish. So when you look at it as well, catfish are easier to keep or to grow compared to the tilapia.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. As we continue talking to Mr. Sami, for now, let's go for a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Sami Fisheries, a home of variety. We farm catfish, tilapia, fingerlings, poultry, and livestock. At Sami Fisheries, we work as a community in order to contribute to Zambia's food basket. Our produce markets beyond Livingstone. We are found in Livingstone at plot number 4993/4994 off Mosotunya Road along Maramba River. For details, you can call us on 0977 78 6175 or 0978 03 3582 or email us at samsimango@hotmail.com.
Welcome back. You're still watching Let's Go Farming, and before we went on a break, Mr. Sami here was just telling us the 2 types of fish that he keeps, which is bubblefish and tilapia, locally known as bream. Sam,
yes.
So let's start with the bream first.
Okay.
Tell us what it is first before we even reach to what the bream eats. How old do they stay in the stomach? Just explain to us the...
With us, we have what we call the brooder ponds.
Okay.
where we pair the females and the males together. We harvest every 14 days. Yeah, fish actually produce every 14 days to 21 days.
Okay.
So from our brooder ponds, those are the ones that we have down there, and the other ones are at the bottom. We pair the males and the females. That is 3 to 1. 1 male to 3 females.
So in short, even the fish, they are polygamous.
That is true. That is very, very true. Yeah, that is very true. That actually helps you to have good quality fingerlings.
Okay.
Yeah, you have quality eggs, and from there we remove them from the brooder ponds. We take them into our hatchery, where we sex reverse them. There's what we call sex reversing, so that they're all male. In short, they don't give birth, because you have a problem when you don't control that. You see, a pond like this one takes about 10,000 fish, and if you don't control it, you find you have 100,000 fish within a short time. Yes, because every 2 weeks they should produce. So that's during the breeding season. That usually starts from end of August to about beginning of May. Yes, and then when you get to May, the breeding season comes to an end.
Why?
Why is because when it gets too cold, the fish don't produce. Yes, so that's the time we also separate them from the brooder ponds. Yeah, we take the males off, keep them alone, and keep the female alone for about 3 months. Yes, until it starts getting warm again.
So before we go any further, what kind of water should one use to do fish farming?
Well,
You just get water from the tap, or?
According to me, I think tap water has got chlorine, which is not good for the fish. So we prefer to use borehole water or water from the river.
Natural water, like
Natural water. Natural water is the best, because you don't even need to fertilize it. Yeah, the water from the borehole is usually clean water, so you need to fertilize it to make it nutritious for the fish to grow well. When you're on a commercial level, you have to give them the right feed at the right time, the right age. So it starts from the hatchery. Yes, there's what we call a post hatch. Yes, and then we go to a crumble, and then we go to a starter. Starters have also got different sizes, and then you go to a grower, and then you go to a finisher. We buy our feed from Novatech. That's where we've been buying our feed for the past 2 years. This is the feed.
Let's show the viewers to see how it looks like.
Yeah, so this is a starter.
Okay.
Yes, this is a starter. You can see these are small pellets. These are small pellets.
For baby fish.
Yes, for baby fish, weighing between 70 grams to 100 grams. And then we have a grower.
These are bigger ones.
These are bigger pellets.
Okay.
This is a grower, which is almost the same size as a finisher.
Okay.
Yes, this takes them up from about 100 grams to about 500 grams.
Okay, so for this you feed all kinds, bigger and smaller ones, but this one's strictly for the babies.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, this we feed this up to about 2.5 months, going to 3 months, and then that's when we change now to the grower, because our tilapia grows up to about 500 grams in about 6 months. Yes, we make sure by 6 months we hit the target of 500 to 600 grams. Okay.
So
yes.
When do you start selling them? Because you said your farm is a commercial. So when do you start selling them?
We start selling them at about 5 months to 6 months. We sell them to different kinds of markets. We have our marketeers who also tell us the sizes that they want. That's why I said about 5 months, because the marketeers don't really want the big fish. Yeah, they want the sizable fish which they can put on their stands and people can afford. So we are also looking at that market. We actually want to also reduce maybe to about 4 months. With the bubble fish is different. We don't pair them. Our breeding stock, we keep the males separate and the females separate, because it's a scientific way to produce fingerlings on the bubble fish, on the catfish. It's really scientific. I think you saw our hatchery there, where you have to squeeze the eggs out of the females, remove the sperm chambers from the males, and then fertilize them, and then put them to fertilize.
Yeah. Now, on that note, Mr. Sammy, so we squeeze the eggs
female.
from the female.
Yes.
Now, if they're in the normal river, who squeezes them?
Well, that is a natural way. No one squeezes them. What happens is the female will vomit the eggs. Yeah, on the edge of the river. Okay. Actually, they usually breed during the rainy season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with what we are doing, we start the breeding in August, end of August.
Okay.
But in the river, on the rivers, they won't do it at this moment. They only start breeding when it starts raining. They will not breed.
Okay. Or they are used.
You can actually keep the males and the female in one pond even for 100 years.
They will not breed.
You won't find any fingerlings. Because what usually happens is the males come and eat the eggs.
Oh.
Yeah, it will come and fertilize and eat maybe 3/4 of the eggs in the river. Yeah, because catfish will give you eggs maybe 50,000, 70,000 one catfish. Yeah, sometimes it can even go to 100,000. The bigger it is, the more eggs that it produces. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, and catfish is a delicate fish to me because of the way it breeds. Okay. So if you've looked at our market, most of the people do not sell fingerlings for the catfish because they had to produce. They had to find. But it's a very easy fish to grow.
Compared to tilapia?
Compared to a tilapia.
Okay.
With catfish, you don't even need the aerators that we have. You don't need the oxygen levels. The water is not supposed to be as clean as tilapia. Catfish is you can do catfish at your backyard without having any problems.
So long there's mud.
So long there's a bit of mud and water. Okay. Yes. These are what produce oxygen for the fish. Tilapia needs a lot of oxygen to grow. Okay. If you don't have oxygen, your fish don't grow. Because one, they won't have appetite. They won't be active. But with oxygen, they'll be playing all over. You can see they're all over us. It just shows you that they are happy. Without oxygen, they would have been under you, maybe even gasping. Yeah, so oxygen is a very cardinal thing to growing tilapia.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, we now go for a short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Sami Fisheries, a home of variety. We farm catfish, tilapia, fingerlings, poultry, and livestock. At Sami Fisheries, we work as a community in order to contribute to Zambia's food basket. Our produce markets beyond Livingstone. We are found in Livingstone at plot number 4993/4994 off Mosotunya Road along Maramba River. For details, you can call us on 0977 78 6175 or 0978 03 3582 or email us at samsimango@hotmail.com.
Welcome back. You are still watching Let's Go Farming. We are here at Mr. Sammy's farm. We were talking about, before we went on a break, we were talking about how to feed the bubblefish and what they eat.
Yes.
Yeah. So I also want to know, at first you said you started with 1 pond, then we went to 3 ponds.
Yes.
How many ponds do you have? And again, do you also work alone or you have employed other people?
I started with 1 pond. I mean, that's where I had to start from. And that was in 2020. And I'm now sitting on 32 ponds. Thank you. Different sizes. Ponds. My smallest pond carries 5,000 fish.
Wow.
And my biggest pond carries 14,000 fish. Well, it hasn't been an easy ride, but I mean, I have the vision to grow bigger than what I am right now. Sammy's Fisheries has got 32 employees as well. Those are both are all over. We have some on the chicken, on the poultries, some on the piggeries, and most of the staff are on the fisheries. Yes, I can say that the biggest, the most important thing to do fish farming is the water. You should have a water source. If you have the water source, then it becomes easy.
You're home and dry.
They're home and dry. Because other people that don't have aerators, that can use water to aerate the ponds. Yeah, so you remove the water while it's pumping in water. So you exit the water from the outlet while water is going in, which creates oxygen. So that's another way, but to me that's an expensive way of doing it. You'd rather you have the aerators because they are more accurate and they're efficient. Yeah. So tilapia, like I said, grows in 6 months. With the catfish, within 6 months they should be hitting at least about 800 to 1 kg. They grow fast. That's why I said it's easy to grow them. But in Zambia we don't have the market because most people are used to eating the tilapia, and they don't eat the milonge, the barb of the catfish. So our market is to export. At the same time, we want to export it as a product that has been treated by salting and drying, and then well packed.
So export them to where? African countries or across the African continent?
African countries, of course, DRC is the nearest, like I said. To them, catfish is a delicacy. Yes, they love it so much. Yes, ma'am.
So for the food, you said you buy them from Novatech.
Yes.
What if there's someone out there who wants to start keeping fish on a small scale and they don't have money? They will think, I need to find water, I need to find the feed, it's expensive. What else can fish eat apart from this? Can you feed them with the leaves or with nshima? What else can they eat?
Well, I think long back, traditionally they used to give them the shima and these other things, but those are dangerous because one, they can contaminate the water.
Oh, okay.
You see, if when you look at this feed, there's what we call a sinking feed, and there's a floating feed. The sinking feed is usually used when they are small, because most of the time they're at the bottom, and when they grow, it's a floater feed, which they'll eat on top before it gets to the bottom, because once the feed starts hitting the bottom, the pond starts getting contaminated. So you need, by all means, you need to keep your ponds clean. Let the fish eat the feed, and the pond will be clean. Yeah, but if the pond is not clean, you have issues of pumping in water all the time to keep it clean, because we have diseases like fungus, which is a very bad disease.
Okay, and when they get diseases, how do you treat them?
With fungus, the easiest way is to use coal salt. Yeah, coal salt is the best. You throw in the coal salt on corners, on all corners of your pond, for about 3 to 4 days, continuously, once a day. It really works. I've had an issue with fungus on one of the ponds, and when I used it, it was excellent. Yeah, it really helped us. We could see the fish recovering so quickly, all the wounds, because fungus is a wound. Okay. Yeah, it becomes a wound, and once the fish has a wound, the other fish start eating it.
Oh,
yeah, so it becomes food. So you have to avoid that by all means. Yeah, and like I said, the oxygen is very important. It makes the fish grow. If you don't have aerators or enough oxygen in your ponds, your fish will be stunted. Instead of selling your tilapia at 6 months to be at 500 grams, your tilapia will be maybe 200 grams at 6 months. So these are the advantages of the aerators. Yes, and the more you aerate your ponds, the more appetite your fish will have. And the more they eat,
They'll become
the faster they grow. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you see yourself from now? From now, what are your future plans?
I've exhausted my land with the 32 ponds. What has actually helped us to grow this fast is because of the hatcheries that we have. We've been selling fingerlings. Like I said, fingerlings grow, we are produced every 2 weeks. You can be able to sell. We produce about 50,000 fingerlings in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks during the season. So we were selling more of the fingerlings and then investing back into the farm, plowing back into the farm. Right now we've taken all the space on the farm. We don't have space. If we had enough space, we would grow more, bigger than what we are today. And of course, this thing is also helping people to get employment.
Yes.
I have a compound next to me. It's called Maloni Sakubita. Yeah, before I came here, a lot of people were just lazing around. And now I've employed almost a good number of people.
Interesting.
And
added to the national development.
Exactly. Which makes me feel happy because I do not like the issue of people coming to ask for food all the time. Now people can take the children to school with the little that they get from us, and we take care of them. I'm also teaching them. Apart from working for me, they're also learning from me. So, like I said, I didn't go to school for the fish farming. It was just a passion, and every day I learn something. I do my researches. I move around to see what other people are doing, and I'm happy. To me, it's a passion. Yes. What I can say to people who want to come into fish farming is, it's a dedication. You need to commit yourself. Time is the biggest thing in this field. You need to be up early, spend your day around your ponds, observation, see how your fish are behaving, and to be honest, you learn every day. I'm not praising myself, but I think I'm doing better than even people who went to school.
No, please feel free to praise yourself.
Yes. I think.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, I've gone around and people who say they're experts, I think they can be experts in the book, but they do not spend most of the time on the ponds. Practical work. I leave my house at 6 o'clock in the morning to check on my ponds. That's when you actually see the behavior of the fish. If they are suffocating, if there's no oxygen, or if they're sick, you see them now coming on top, trying to gasp for air, maybe on the sides of the ponds. And then as the day begins developing, starts getting hot, you can see now the activity, they want to eat. Now they want to eat. You can see this is a good sign. It's showing us that they are happy. They want to eat. They're just waiting for us to maybe give them something. Yes, and also with the feeding, when it comes to the feeding part, you don't just feed. You should know the amount of fish in the pond and the amount of fish to feed them. Because when you overfeed the fish, they become suffocated and they die. At this age, we feed them at this age, it's about 3 to 4 times a day. You can feed them 3 to 4 times a day. Yes. And then because of their digestion, they grow faster. Yes. Yeah, you don't feed them at once, because when you feed them at once, the pond becomes contaminated, their digestion system, they stop breathing well. That is not good for them. They start dying. Yes.
So as we end the interview, so any few remarks to those that would be fish farmers?
Yes. I think if you want to be fish farmers, my fellow countrymen, you actually need to have a water source. Water source is the biggest thing. You can run with boreholes, depending on the size of your ponds. The rivers are the best. If I was at the bank of the river, I would have been using cages, which don't require aerators. like what Yalelo are doing in Kariba. They're on the river in Siavonga. Yes, that's an easy way of doing it because it reduces most of your costs. You don't need dam liners. You don't need aerators. You're using natural water. All you need is just to feed. Yes, and have your cages in order.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sami.
You are most welcome. It's a pleasure having you on my farm. And we hope to see you soon.
We will come back very soon.
When we are harvesting. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. I was at Mr. Sami's Fisheries Farm. See you next time. My name is Mutsintanyanga.